Hallo, herzlich willkommen zum Beach House Talk. Heute ganz besonders, Ulla und ich sind etwas aufgeregt, wir werden nämlich international und deswegen wechseln wir jetzt zur englischen Sprache. Today we are very proud to have a very special guest from, I don't know, I think Beverly Hills, California, Mr. Louis Ignarro. Good to have you here. We are so looking forward for your story, how you find the way to our beautiful island and what you did in your very special, great life.
Why are you here?
Why am I here? Well, for one thing, I've been invited to come here, and I can see that this island is really magnificent.
Yeah.
It does not look like Los Angeles, I assure you. But no, I'm here to talk about my work, to talk about the book that I just published called Dr.NO. And we've recently, thanks to my friends in Germany, we've had it translated into German, so that everyone here can really enjoy the book as much as we who speak English enjoy the English version.
Yes, but I enjoyed the German version. I read this book. It's a very nice book because it's a science thriller. It's very, very exciting to read about your way of curiosity. And I think curiosity is very important in your life. And you started in your childhood by building bombs because you were curious. You did. Big ones.
Big ones.
Why did you do that?
Well, I actually started off, I did not have an intention to build a bomb. I was 10 years old at the time.
Okay.
And the idea I had, my desire was to build a firecracker, you know, a small firecracker.
Okay.
Because I used to go to watch the fireworks, you know, where I was raised.
On 4th of July or something like this.
Exactly, July 4th, Independence Day in the United States. And I just had the idea, those are so beautiful, I'm going to try to make those myself at home. And so with a lot of work and reading and trying to understand a little chemistry at that young age, I was successful in making firecrackers and also rocket fuel to send things up. And on occasion, I would make the firecrackers a bit too large. And so my neighbors called them small bombs instead of firecrackers. But that's how it all started.
Yes.
Very curious thing.
You had some wonderful explosions in your life, even in science, because you asked yourself when you were very young, why do some people have suffered from heart diseases and why do some people not? And this was a question that accompanied your whole life. Your life.
Exactly. When I was a young teenager, I recognized that so many people, so many neighbors and friends had heart attacks or strokes and died when they were 45, 50 years old, but yet other people lived on to 80 or 90 years old and had no cardiovascular disease. And so I kept wondering, you know, why is that the case? Why do some people get it, some people don't get it? Before that, at that time, we didn't understand genetics or hereditary diseases. But I thought that, well, you know, as the years went by and I was studying biology and so on, I thought that perhaps those people who are healthy, maybe they make some molecule, some chemical that keeps them healthy, but yet the people who have those diseases, maybe they don't make any of that molecule, or maybe they don't make enough. And so I kept that in my mind for decades until doing my research in the laboratory, I actually discovered the molecule that keeps us healthy and prevents cardiovascular disease.
And this is that.
The diseased people don't make enough of it, and that's nitric oxide, or NO.
So NO, Dr.NO,
Dr.NO.
Dr.NO.
Dr.NO. We say Dr.NO, but remember, please say yes to no.
Yes, this is very important, this NO thing. It's a kind of transmitter, and we produce it ourselves. So the answer of your question is that your body produces it because it's a gas.
Correct. It is a gas, and normally nitric oxide, of course, is present in the atmosphere. It's a toxic, polluting gas. So nobody in biology ever thought that our bodies would produce such a toxic gas.
Oh,
for what
some
reason?
people think.
But we made the discovery that yes, our bodies do produce this toxic gas, but in the body it does not work as a toxic gas. In large concentrations, yes, but in the small amounts we make, the nitric oxide, as you said, works as a neurotransmitter, works as a signaling molecule to do many things in the body to, again, protect us from certain diseases.
So we need to add this because we have less in ourselves.
Exactly.
Okay.
Right. You cannot buy nitric oxide as a medication because it's a gas.
Yeah.
And if you breathe in large amounts of the gas, it'll kill you instantly because it's very toxic in large amounts.
Okay.
The only way to get your body to make more nitric oxide is to stimulate certain things in the body to make more nitric oxide. And so pharmaceutical companies, biotech companies are still looking for a drug that can stimulate your arteries and veins and brain and so on to make nitric oxide. But nobody has discovered anything yet. But the research showed, and this is very important, that there are two main ways you can increase your nitric oxide to be healthy. One is to eat a healthy, balanced diet, healthy, balanced nutrition, and I can explain that more if you want.
Please.
And the other is to engage in physical activity or exercise. Every time a human being exercises, moves, runs, swims, even just walking, your arteries make more and more nitric oxide. Because nitric oxide is what we call a vasodilator. It widens the arteries so that more blood can flow through. So if you're running, let's say, let's just pick running. If you're running, you want more blood to go to your muscles because the blood contains oxygen and nutrients. So Mother Nature is very smart. So when you start running, your blood vessels go like this, so more blood can travel to your muscles, and that's all produced, that's all mediated by nitric oxide. But the same nitric oxide that dilates all those blood vessels, that same nitric oxide prevents high blood pressure, prevents blood clotting, diabetes, and heart attacks. So what does that mean? Well, that means that the more you exercise, the more protection you're going to have against cardiovascular disease, right?
Yeah.
Of course.
Well, that's why
So
exercise is good for your health.
Yeah, let's exercise. Let's do
Let's
some
do
cardio.
something like this.
Yeah, just go up
So,
and down.
what is it?
Even
What is it?
swallowing is exercise.
It's Pinot Noir Rosé from Portugal.
Beautiful. From Portugal?
Yes.
Oh, I didn't even know they made such a thing. Okay.
Cheers.
Alvarinho and Pinot Noir.
Ah,
Cheers.
Alvarinho.
So nice to have you here. Thank you.
Cheers.
I feel my NOs growing.
Okay.
You have another book with you? I'd like to have one.
You can buy it.
Someone probably.
Yeah, of course, but not now. I want a signature.
Fantastic.
I already have a signature.
Okay, nice.
So
Lucky
you
you.
just told us how important it is to enforce the NO stuff, I'd say, by being active. And
Yes.
the other thing is, when you're getting older, and you are getting a little bit older, you are 81 years old, and you're looking like...
Really?
Yes.
I was
81.
just 81. 3 weeks ago, I was 81 years old.
Congratulations. You're
Thank
looking
you.
beautiful. So
I
this,
feel good because I take care of myself.
you take care of yourself?
I have a lot of nitric oxide.
Okay, how do you manage it?
Well, two ways I manage it. Besides drinking the red wine, the two ways I manage it is to eat healthy. It's important to eat healthy, balanced nutrition, and also to engage in physical activity. And I've explained how physical activity works so well to boost nitric oxide. But eating healthy is so important, and you really have to do that because there are many different kinds of foods that your body uses to make more nitric oxide. There are other foods that if you eat will decrease your nitric oxide production. Foods that decrease NO production are saturated fat, For example,
Chips,
eating too much meat, any
Meat.
packaged food, chips, you name it, any packaged food will decrease your nitric oxide because of the fat content, and also, you know, I'm not sure what it is in Germany, maybe it's the same as the US. The #1 killer in the United States is salt.
Oh.
Too much salt. Salt causes high blood pressure. High blood pressure causes cardiovascular disease. And I see people adding so much salt to the food. You know, food naturally has salt and water. So I have learned to eat all of my meals without salt. After a few weeks of doing that, you get used to it.
Really?
And you don't have to add so much salt.
Maybe your taste changes, huh?
Your taste changes. Your taste changes. But salt and fat are just the worst things you can put in your body if you do it in excess. And that is well known to decrease nitric oxide. And people who eat too much salt get high blood pressure. That's a known fact.
Okay.
That's quite interesting because I thought it's sugar.
Sugar too.
Yeah, sugar too.
Oh yeah, yeah. Sugar.
That salt is on
too.
the top before sugar. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, there are several big causes of decrease in nitric oxide and cardiovascular disease. I mentioned fat, I mentioned salt, but especially in the US, sugar.
Yes.
Everything has sugar. You know, the kids are drinking Coca-Cola, Pepsi-Cola, all this stuff has tons of sugar. I mean, I just don't.
What about Coke
understand
Zero?
it.
Or
Oh, that's fine.
That's okay.
That's what I drink.
Yes, I drink it too.
Yeah.
But be
No
more,
sugar.
please be more concrete. What do I have to eat? It's like
That's
less
what I want to
meat.
do. Okay.
I think nuts are good.
Yeah.
Salad,
Yeah.
vegetables.
I can tell you, I can make this a very simple story. So, when you eat, the most important food you should try to eat as often as possible for protein is fish. Any kind of fish. Very lucky here.
Yes.
Any kind of fish. Very healthy. If you're going to eat meat, it should be lean meat and maybe once a week.
Yes.
Okay? Or you can add little bits of meat if you want in a pasta sauce.
Yeah.
I'm Italian, I make lots of pasta and sauce, and I don't have a big steak, I just add little bits of meat to the sauce to make it taste good. Chicken is good, but no skin.
Okay.
Give the skin to your dogs or cats. Or
I always do, because it's too fat.
Exactly, it's too fattening. So, nuts, you mentioned nuts. Nuts are rich in protein.
Yes.
Nuts are very healthy. The only thing you have to watch with nuts, if you eat too much, is they have a lot of calories.
Yes.
So if your intention is healthy eating but to lose weight, then you have to decrease the amount of nuts. You know, you can't have a glass of nuts every day. You just have a handful.
Few. Yes, a handful. I read about
You know,
this
that's
too.
good.
But you know, you've been awarded by the Nobel Prize because you made the basic science or the most important science results for finding new drugs against Entzündung, infections.
Inflammation and infection.
Yes, and infections. And at last, Pfizer, this pharmaceutical company, developed, based on your science, Viagra.
Exactly.
And this is very important for millions of men and millions of
Hundreds
women
of
too.
millions.
Hundreds of millions.
Yes, men and women. Thank you.
Yes,
Very good.
but why don't we have Viagra for women?
It's a long story. I worked with the people at Pfizer when they first marketed the blue pill for men, blue-collar men.
Which year?
1998 is when they released. Just a few months
1998.
before the Nobel Prize announcement,
Okay.
Pfizer marketed Viagra. So, Viagra works in men and women because both men and women have what we call erectile tissue for sexual sensation.
Activity and sensation.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So, of course, it's shaped a little differently in the man and the woman, but both men and women have it. And so, Viagra works very simply by increasing the action of nitric oxide in the erectile tissue.
Okay.
It causes a marked increase. Erectile dysfunction affects hundreds of millions of men because these men don't make enough nitric oxide to produce a normal erection. So when they take Viagra, then they make enough nitric oxide to get a normal or near normal erection.
Oh,
That's why Viagra is one of the safest drugs ever marketed.
Okay.
The only thing Viagra does if you take too much, when there's light out, if you take too much, it gives a green tint of color to what you're looking at. So what I always tell people is when you take it, turn the damn light off. No problem.
And I think you were asked often in your life, did you ever try Viagra?
Every time I give a talk, you know, they congratulate me for doing the work that led to Viagra.
Yeah.
They call me the father of Viagra. And then the Professor Ignarro, have you ever tried Viagra just to see how it works? And my answer is always, well, you know, being Italian, I don't have that problem.
Bam! 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 So,
I like that in Italy when I give that.
Yes, of course. I know that you're a great cooker because your mom taught you to do it when she was quite old. And I'm so sorry that she died because in your book you describe her as a wonderful person and woman, and as your father too.
Yes, yes.
And I think he's very proud of you. And your mom, she knows that you got the Nobel Prize.
Yes, she went to Stockholm with us.
She will tell your father in heaven, I'm sure.
Absolutely.
So I think it's time to thank you again.
Well,
I could talk for hours with you, for days and nights with a nice glass of wine, but we don't have so much time, and you have to go to the train.
Yes.
It's like Wetten, Das, you know.
Berlin.
Oh, our star has to go because he has to leave back to LA.
It was so nice to have you here. Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
It's very nice to be here. Fantastic restaurant, beautiful view. Thank you.
So, cheers.
Cheerio. Cheers.
Cheerio.
Salute.
Salute.
Okay.